Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the full moon in Aquarius, but first I wanted to let you guys know because you may feel it in my energy, and also I just want to be transparent with you guys because the process of what I am going through was actually feels quite fitting for this full moon in Aquarius. I had planned on making this video today so that I could have some free time over a certain period of time where there's going to be a lot of heavy transits, and I just really wanted to focus on relaxation and self-expression and fun and all these things, so I wanted to get this video done. The night before, so last night, I found out that my grandmother passed away, and obviously a lot of grief there. Regardless of somebody's age and health, losing somebody who means a lot to you is painful. And I've lost a lot of people close to me in the last 5 years. And it's very interesting how every grief and every loss feels so different. I am Persian. I'm from Iran. I'm Iranian. However you want to say it. People are very particular about that. And we have such a rich culture and so much tradition, and I love that, and I think it really adds something to your life when you have that. And yet I am quite Uranian in nature. I have my sun in the 11th house of Aquarius, and I have Saturn in the 7th house, making it prominent, and it is in Aquarius. And so I definitely feel the zing of Aquarius a lot, and inside of me. And so one of the things that has never felt right to me is feeling boxed in by tradition or boxed in by culture. And so while I maintain such a genuinely deep appreciation for it, I recognize that my sense of individuality comes first. And last night, I was talking to my partner, and I told him, I said, I still want to make this video tomorrow, but I feel like I shouldn't. And when I say that, I recognize that I am shoulding myself, right? Like when I feel like I'm shoulding myself, it feels like I am acting from a place of conditioning. Because generally when we say, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that, we are reflecting some sort of learned behavior or some sort of messaging that we've gotten throughout our lives, whether that's from our family or society, or, television, or I don't know, something outside of ourselves. I felt like I genuinely wanted to still do this video. It didn't feel like I was overriding grief. It didn't feel like I was, pushing it away. And I do have a tendency to dissociate sometimes in terms of my intense emotions. So I check that, and I try to be aware of that. Like, am I trying to avoid or distract myself? And it really didn't feel like that. It felt like a genuine desire to still show up and to know that even though this is an act for me of service to others, it is still healing to me too, because I genuinely enjoy showing up here. I genuinely enjoy talking about the stars, talking about psychology, and trying to guide others in areas that maybe I've been through as well, or I've learned from. And on top of that, when I was doing my outlines or writing my thoughts about this full moon, I pulled a tarot card, and I'll talk about that later, but the tarot card just kind of affirmed how I was feeling, and it very much affirmed the energy of my grandmother. She was 96 when she died, and she was such a solid person, and her life was not easy, and yet she never accepted pity and always just wanted to be of service. Now, I'm not saying this is like good or bad, everything in moderation, right? But that's just how she was. And her energy has always provided a sense of strength for me. And like the tarot card strength, right? And in that strength, card is a vision of somebody taming a lion, taming their instincts and having the inner strength that way, not through domination, not through force, but a knowing inside that you are powerful and that you are strong, and relying on that strength. And so doing this video feels like a reliance on that inner strength from myself at this moment in time. And yeah, so in honor of her, let's get started. Like I said, everything I just talked about, and this Leo card that makes me think of my grandmother, is very prominent in this full moon, right? Because the sun is going to be in Leo, Mercury's in Leo in retrograde, and the moon is of course going to be in Aquarius. Now this full moon is happening on August 19th, the same day that we're having a lot of other transits. I'll link my Jupiter square Saturn video down below, because that's such an important energy that is the first part of a 20-year cycle that started in 2020. So definitely watch that video to get an understanding of the other energies that are going on around this time. And yes, it's happening on the same day as this. Now, with this full moon, we have, like I said, the sun and Mercury in Leo, Mercury retrograde, and we have the moon in Aquarius, and we have Uranus in Taurus. And also sitting with Uranus very closely is Algol, the star that we were talking about a lot when Mars and Uranus got together on July 15th, and that caused a lot of crazy things happening in the collective and maybe in our personal lives as well. So what this does is it creates something called a T-square. And a T-square is pretty much, we have the sun and Mercury in Leo opposing moon in Aquarius, and squaring, both of them squaring Uranus and Taurus. And so it kind of leaves this empty space with the other fixed sign, which is Scorpio. And so I actually, in my Jupiter square Saturn video, I talked about how I feel like we could best do with these T-square energies. I gave some advice, and it could be applicable to this full moon as well, because it is forming a T-square. But that means that we have a T-square in mutable signs and a T-square in fixed signs. And T-squares and grand crosses in fixed signs to me always feel like the most challenging ones, because fixed signs in nature are fixed. They don't like change. That's kind of one of the most prominent things about them, and what makes them so amazing, their level of commitment and stability, is because of their lack of desire for change. They don't like change, and so therefore they are stable and consistent and committed. But if we abhor change and we just completely turn away from it, then we become stubborn and unyielding, and those are more negative manifestations, right? So when we have a T-square in fixed signs, it's showing that there's a lot of tension here. Squares inherently are adding pressure, and the pressure is causing or pushing you to take action in a way that's uncomfortable in order to promote growth. So when we have it in fixed signs, a lot of times this feels like there's a lot of stagnant energy that is wanting to be pushed through, and we're kind of like sticking our feet in the mud and saying no. Whereas even though T-squares in mutable signs and cardinal signs are not, it's still a difficult pattern in the sky, those modalities are either more likely to desire change, like the cardinal signs, or like the mutable signs, they're more likely to at least adapt if they need to. But with fixed signs, like I said, it just feels more rigid. And Uranus is tightly squaring the sun and moon. And this kind of makes me feel like, Uranus is going to be leaving Taurus in June of 2025. And it's been there since 2018. And Taurus is not only a fixed sign, but it's fixed earth. So it's almost like rigid and rigid. you know, and this is one of the reasons we love Taurus. They give us a sense of stability and peace because of their tendency to feel stable to other people. They don't change constantly, maybe like me, who's a Gemini, you know, who is very much concerned about authenticity in the moment, right? Which, because of how much information I take in all the time, that can change a lot, right? And so some people find that exciting and some people find it unpredictable and destabilizing. Trust me, I feel both ways about myself, okay? So, but yeah, so I feel like this part of our chart where we have Taurus is really has really been trying to shake things up to free us of something, to allow a new path to emerge. And this is Uranus, right? So it's wanting to break something free so that something that's more authentic, based out of individuality for you. And that's what it's wanting. And Taurus is like, nope, we are staying right here. This is what we do. This is who we are. This is how we behave in this part of our chart. And we don't want to change. And maybe you found that you have been, you know, nudging towards change and making small steps, which is still amazing, right? We celebrate progress. And a lot of times progress needs to be made in small steps in order for it to stick. But that was my ring hitting against my computer. But there sometimes comes a point where, like, Uranus is like, hello, you know, like, what's going on here? And we kind of need a bigger push. And that's kind of what this feels like. So I feel like from now until June, you're going to really be feeling like something is really being pushed to break free in this part of your chart and be more authentic. On the same day as all this is happening, like I said, I mean, this is part of the T-square, is that Mercury retrograde in Leo is squaring Uranus in Taurus. I've talked about this in my Mercury retrograde video, as well as the full moon in Capricorn video, which was the first Mercury-Uranus square. This is the second one. I believe the third one's on September 6th, I want to say. But Mercury square Uranus, especially during a Mercury Cazimi, which I like which is happening on August 18th, 19th, feels like there is a clarity, a really clear understanding of something that is maybe shocking. And because it's Mercury, it might be something that's said or in thought or something that you read that could be very revealing to you. And if we think about this on a collective level too, it could happen there. We might hear about something that is very shocking, very unexpected. And in our personal lives, we may see this or we may hear this or whatever, and it may be something that actually pushes us to get really clear about something and recognize that something may not be working in the way that we have thought it could work. And that can be painful. And the Jupiter square Saturn aspect adds another aspect of like painful truth. There's just a lot of similar patterns showing up around this time. And I think it's interesting too that this Mercury square Uranus has happened last time and this time on a full moon, because full moons are already a time of illumination, of us being illuminated to some sort of feeling that we couldn't see before, an aspect of our consciousness that we couldn't see before. And this is just reiterating that there is something that is being revealed to us, maybe in multiple areas of our lives, because there's so many different ways that this is happening. And I talked about in my Jupiter square Saturn video that there may be a painful truth about our ideals and how we are or how we are not living up to them that may come up during this time, that we may need to recognize that like something needs to change. So I actually want to read a quote from Carl Jung, which I feel like is talking about this full moon a little bit. And it's a quote on individuation. And individuation is one of the key themes of Jungian psychology. And it's kind of like the process in which somebody becomes a psychological whole, going from a fragmented being to an integrated, holistic being that is separate and individual from everybody else. And this is also something that human design is really big on, and why it's called the science of differentiation, because it's very, very much concerned with us following our own authentic blueprint and not going by the conditioning of society. And even in things like, internal family systems, IFS, we talk about the capital S self, and that is a concept that is very much present in Jungian psychology as well. But I just wanted to let you guys know what that individuation is, because the quote kind of talks about it. So Carl Jung says, one cannot individuate as long as one is playing a role to oneself. The convictions one has about oneself are the most subtle form of persona, and the most subtle obstacle against any true individuation. One can admit practically anything, yet somewhere one retains the idea that one is nevertheless so-and-so. And this is always a sort of final argument which counts apparently as a plus, yet it functions as an influence against true individuation. It is a most painful procedure to tear off those veils, but each step forward in psychological development means just that, the tearing off of a new veil. We are like onions with many skins, and we have to peel ourselves again and again in order to get at the real core. So yeah, I feel like that's very much speaking to Uranian themes. And this full moon is very Uranian and shocking and revelatory in nature. Yeah, so going off of that, something shocking could be revealed to us. And like I said, that could be in our personal lives or collectively. It may throw us for a loop and we may not be expecting it. And yeah, so remembering too that full moons are always a balancing act too. So the moon is being illuminated in the Aquarius part of your chart, but the sun and Mercury's having a cazimi in the Leo part of your chart. So there are very strong energies in both areas of the chart right now. Both areas are bringing up some sort of information, especially because the Leo part of your chart, as well as the Aquarius part of your chart, are squaring off with Uranus. So with that being said, I want to read the Sabian symbol of 28 degrees of Taurus, because we round up. So this is happening at 27 degrees, but we round up to 28. So the Sabian symbol is a woman pursued by mature romance. The key word is persuasion. The theme is no time like the present. Interesting. All right, so the positive side of this is, at its highest, this symbol speaks to unquenchable hope, patience, and a refusal to recognize limitations. On a negative level, it speaks to disillusionment and a refusal to take chances, or a willingness to accept lesser that is available today rather than wait for the better that may come tomorrow. Today, so the accent on this is on serendipity. Something you may have given up hoping for may suddenly appear on your doorstep. The opportunity. Your greatest advantage lies in recognizing opportunity when it knocks. Everything comes at its own appointed time. Risks. Guard against giving up too soon or accepting second best because you're afraid you won't get what you really want. So that's very much in line with the tarot card reading that I did, which I'll tell you guys in a second. Very, very telling that those two kind of reaffirmed in themselves. So this is also, everything it said is very much picking up on what, the Jupiter square Saturn too, which is making us aware of limitations. So this day, this full moon, August 19th, feels like a very powerful way in which we are being asked to stretch in a new way. Like maybe in seeing limitations, we are able to be patient and trust that a hold on doesn't mean it can't happen, On the negative side, we may just do that, give up hope, and be overcome by the delays or limitations we're facing, which is kind of what this risk is saying. And that's kind of what I talked about in my Jupiter-Saturn video. So this is Diane Roche who says this, okay? But Dane Rudyard, another astrologer, says about 28 degrees of Taurus, the indication is that he or she should freely open his or her mind to the possibility of always new re-beginnings. Ideally, the new beginning should imply a more mature response to the new possibility of experience, which to me makes sense because of Saturn's influence during this time. And Saturn in Pisces, asking for emotional maturity, emotional wisdom, when we're dealing with whatever limitations or path that is being asked to be forged during this time. Full moons, like I said, are a time of illumination, but they are also a time of culmination from something that began during the new moon in Aquarius on or around February 9th, 2024. So think about what was happening in February of this year. Were there seeds planted in the house of Aquarius in your chart at that time? What was happening then that is connected to what is going on now? How is something coming to fruition now? How is something coming to fruition now that you may have began then? Identifying these patterns can help bring more depth and meaning to our lives. So it's a practice that I highly recommend. I don't have it right there, but I have a planner, like a physical planner that I get every year since I was 16 years old. And so I don't consistently maintain a journal, but in my planner, I try to like notate things that happen, just small things or big things, like, oh, this happened with my boss, or this happened with my partner, or I got in a fight with my sister, or whatever. And it can help me look back. So when I'm doing these things, like, oh, what happened around February 9th? Did something major happen regarding my 7th house, because it's my Aquarius house? Because people who do this just off of memory, how? How? I don't know. That's just not how my brain works. Okay, so now I want to talk about the tarot card that I got for this full moon, which was the Four of Cups reversed. Flew out. It's really interesting. I have been getting a lot of reverse cards in our readings recently, and I don't keep like almost any reverse cards, but when things fly out for whatever reason, I have a tendency to pick them up reverse, and I keep them that way. So this card reversed is very much about us getting out of a rut. This feels so indicative of the Sabian symbol. It's almost like we start recognizing that we've been stagnant in the world and we've spent too much time thinking about wasted opportunities, okay? Because this upright is very much about like wasted opportunities. Like this is being handed a new opportunity, and us just kind of feeling like we're in a state of withdrawal. We're not ready for any new opportunities. We need to contemplate and check for alignment. And so when it's reversed, it's like maybe we've spent a lot of time thinking about, oh, well, I didn't do this, and I need to do this, but I should have done this. And to the point where we have been missing the opportunities all around us for possibly a new way that may be scarier because it's unknown, but we've been kind of lamenting the choices that we made or the choices that we didn't make, and we've been feeling stagnant. And this is really this new moon this full moon and the T-squares that are going on is really asking us to make a push towards something new. And for some reason, I'm feeling like for a lot of us, this is a push towards action to begin anew. So this may just be like a planning stage, recognizing that you really need to push yourself forward in a new way and start planning that. Maybe it's not time quite yet to implement the project or to actually do the thing, but it's time to start walking that path. Right? So, I was thinking about like maybe you've been wallowing in self-pity, or maybe around this time you're feeling disappointed about something. It didn't turn out the way that you wanted. And this is asking you to not get down for too long about this. It's saying that this is simply a redirection. Can you see how a delay or a hard stop can simply be a time for realignment? It doesn't mean no. Maybe it means not right now, or not exactly in this way. We need to do something new. So how can we gather hope, like the Sabian symbol said, and cultivate patience and self-awareness and not get in an emotional rut about what's going on? This doesn't mean bypassing it, but it's also, I feel like most of us have just kind of felt the emotions for too long, because that's a thing too. People think that like it's only bad if you don't feel your emotions. True, that's a negative. But also, if we are wallowing in our emotions and just drowning in them, that's also a negative side effect of our emotions, right? We want to maintain a healthy balance between the two. It's feeling our emotions and taking action. Yeah, so I was just, in my notes, I said that with all the squares in the sky, you may be feeling called to action, and this energy could be useful for action towards planning during this time. So see where you're at, what worked, what didn't. How can you use that information wisely going forward so you can grow in this situation? This card and this full moon in general, I feel like is going to jolt a lot of people awake from fantasies they've been living in. And it will remind us that any self-sabotage that we've been doing is simply that, self-sabotage. So there may be a feeling that there's a life to live out there. Like, I want to live this certain life. And we may get to that realization in a painful way. Like, it could be a result of some sort of painful truth, but it happens nonetheless. And we can choose how we want to respond to that. And like I said, it's like if we keep looking at it and no, I'm going to continue to do it this way, even though I know it's not working, well, that's a decision that you can make for sure. And also, like, do you think that's emotionally wise? All right, so with that being said, we're going to go into the all signs portion of this. And as always, I will recommend that you listen to your rising sign, because that is going to be the most accurate if you have your time of birth. If not, read for your sun sign and possibly your moon sign. But you can also read for your sun and moon sign to get a more holistic picture if you wish to do so. All right, I will see you guys there. All right, so for my Aries sun and rising, this full moon is happening in your 11th house. Make sure to listen to the Jupiter square Saturn video for additional information for transits around this time, actually at the same time as this full moon. Now, regarding this full moon, what seeds were planted around February 9th, 2024? Those may be coming up for culmination during this time. So, what kind of themes do we see in the 11th house? The 11th house is about organizations we belong to. It's about hopes and dreams that we have for the future. It's about money earned from our careers. It is a house of belonging in the world, and so therefore includes our social networks, our friends, our the groups that we associate with, as well as if you are on the internet, this could be talking about the internet as well. So when we have a full moon in the 11th house, it could be that something is coming to culmination that happened in these themes back in February of 2024, around the beginning of and middle of that time. Now, this is also squaring Uranus in your second house. So Uranus in the second house for you guys since 2018 has really been trying to shake things up in your finances, in your values, in your income, in your job that you have, and maybe trying to get you to have like more of a path of freedom in this part of your chart, and kind of forging your own way. And yet, this is where you have Taurus in your chart, so you're kind of resistant to change a lot of times. And this makes sense, and it's kind of like what we do with the Taurus part of our chart. But Uranus is starting to get a little annoyed, right? So the moon is in your 11th house. That's where the full moon is happening. And so we're talking about the seeds that were planted within the 11th house, things that I mentioned around February of 2024 coming to a culmination. But like I said, the Uranus aspect is coming into play. So I could see that, you know, there is tension between how you express yourself, your friends, or your groups that you're a part of, and your finances and income. So Uranus is saying, like, we're trying to change our income, but maybe in the way that you're doing it is going against your community. So maybe you have friends, maybe you have some sort of, you have friends or some sort of organization that you're a part of. And if you were to forge this new path and be kind of more revolutionary within your finances and your income and your job and your values, you would have to sacrifice those friends or that group that you're a part of or that internet presence that you have. And a part of this too is the Leo aspect, which is really asking you to recognize the importance of expressing yourself. So it feels like this is a time that you're being called to express your individuality. Like I said, for you guys, it always feels like just a double dose of everything I already talked about. So make sure you listen to the first part of the video. It's a little bit longer, but I think it was pretty useful. Is that you're recognizing that there is a clash between your desire for individuality and fitting in or feeling like you belong in the world. And in that, there is something about income and finance and job and value that is kind of playing into that clash that you're having. Let's see if you have any messages from tarot. Anything else that we need for Aries, Sun, and Rising? Okay, 8 of Wands. So this is generally talking about quickness. So this makes me feel like you guys are busy. There's a lot going on. Maybe there is a project you've been working on that's coming to close to a completion, and there's a lot of momentum, energy moving forward. This is very interesting to me because even though Mercury is retrograde, I'm feeling like there's a lot of forward momentum for a lot of people, and specifically for you, it's like it's saying if you are feeling that momentum, don't resist it. If you are close to completing something, don't resist it. This is just a very fast card, like things are moving into place or things are falling apart very quickly before your eyes. And if it is falling apart, this is a card of asking you to become realigned with what you need and taking action towards it. This is like rapid action. It's not a time of like stillness as much, and it kind of builds upon what we already talked about with this full moon. This is I think it's just picking up on this feeling that there is change that is wanting to happen for you. Maybe there are opportunities that are coming up during this time. Keep your eyes open for these opportunities. This also could be sometimes associated with like travel or like last minute trips that might be really beneficial for you. But yeah, definitely keep your eye out for any opportunities that could be coming up during this time, completion of projects, and realignment if necessary. But this tells me that you guys are having the energy that is necessary to start or complete a project. This gives a little bit more completion energy for me. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. Let me know how that resonates for you guys, and make sure to like and subscribe if this resonated for you. I will see you guys next time, Aries. All right, so for my Taurus, Sun, and Rising, this full moon is happening in your 10th house. Make sure to listen to my Jupiter square Saturn video for additional information during this time, because there is a lot of energy going on with that as well. So don't take just this video into account, because there's a whole other bigger story. This is definitely going to probably feel more immediate, but there's a bigger story at play here as well. So I'll link that down below. Regarding this full moon, what seeds were planted around February 9th of this year? Around that time in your 10th house of career, reputation, legacy, public life. what did you start that is now coming to a point of culmination and that you could reflect upon? And while full moons generally aren't time for action, I'm getting this feeling that a lot of us are wanting to be pushed into action. So, and the tarot and really the message I even just got for Aries kind of aren't pushing it back against that. So I have to stretch my idea of believing that full moons are not a great time to act, because they are generally a time of reflection and the emotions can be high. But if you feel aligned to act, that feels like it is okay during this time. Uranus has been in your first house since 2018. So the shakeup for you guys has been in you, in your personality, in the way that you see the world, in the way that you look. You may notice that recently you've really been pushed to change the way you show up in the world, change the way your body looks, change the way that you view everything. Your attitude towards life has been shifting because Uranus is really getting ready to kind of move into Gemini. And so it's trying to really make sure that the things that it wants from you are kind of happening. And so you may be feeling these impulses more and more. So for you, Uranus is in your first house, squaring the moon in Aquarius in your 10th house, which is opposing Leo, your sun, the sun and Mercury Cazimi in your 4th house. So right now, it seems like there are the areas of your life that are lit up are your 10th, your 1st, and your 4th. And so maybe this is putting pressure on your relationships because that area is empty. So maybe that part of your life is like the part that's not feeling so amazing right now, or activated, let's say, but you are thinking about your career. You are thinking about your home life. You are thinking about what's happening within the home and your emotional life and how all of that relates to the changes that are happening in you. And, yeah, so the seeds that are being culminated that were planted around February are regarding your career, but this is aspecting the 4th house energy. So right now the sun and Mercury are in the 4th house of your home. So there is an illumination happening there as well. And like I said, Uranus in your 1st. Yeah, so I'd love to hear your guys' stories if that is resonating for you. Let's see if the tarot has anything in particular to say to you guys as well. I want to get another card. Okay. Alrighty. So I got the 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups? Yeah, 6 of Cups. So this to me could be very well that you're revisiting childhood memories or places that you went to during your childhood. This gives very much childhood energy. So inner child work you may be doing, recognizing that something from childhood is coming up during this time could very well happen. And it was clarified by the Tower. Okay, wait, really quick. I also want to say this is also very much about generosity and giving and taking, and the energy behind giving and taking, and recognizing there are times to give and times to take, and kind of focusing on that balance. But the Tower feels very much like Uranus in your 1st house, squaring Mercury and Leo and Sun in Leo, and also the full moon. Because the Tower is often some sort of revelation of understanding something in a new way that makes the foundations of the shaky foundations of something crack, and we have to deal with the outcome of that, right? So this very much feels like something is being revealed to you, and it may be unsettling. So what I'm thinking is, I wonder if there's something coming up from your childhood, or something that is going on, something to do with your childhood. So your inner child, your childhood memories, whether that's emotional or a physical place you're visiting. So maybe you're visiting someplace and it's bringing this up, or maybe you're emotionally visiting something from childhood. And maybe it's giving you a breakthrough moment where you're recognizing that something is falling apart, and it's good because it wasn't built on stable foundations. In the moment, the Tower doesn't always feel good, right? Like the Tower card is a major arcana, so I feel like maybe you're having some sort of big reveal. Something is unexpected is coming up to the surface for you to integrate so that you can individuate and start a new path in your career. And you get to rebuild whatever this is, this energy about giving and taking, receiving and giving, or this childhood thing that you're revisiting. You get to rebuild it from a more wise and stable foundation from the place that you are now. Let me see if there's anything else. No, you guys, I think that's it. All right, let me know how that resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, so for my Gemini sun and rising, this full moon is happening in your 9th house. Make sure you listen to the Jupiter square Saturn video that I made for additional information, because that is happening at the same time. And that one is touching on a 20-year cycle, so it's a big deal. And it will definitely be adding to the energies of this full moon. Regarding this full moon though, what seeds were planted in your 9th house, or what was going on in around February 9th, 2024. Now, what is the 9th house rule? The 9th house is the house of foreign travel, higher education. It's the house of your philosophy, of religion and spirituality, of mentors. It is a place of book publishing, if that's something that's going on for you right now. It's a place of law. So if there's anything that is pertaining to law or the justice system in your life, maybe something happened around February, or maybe there was something that happened in your higher education or with a mentor or a father figure that is now coming up for review. There may be, honestly, just something happening that is illuminating or culminating regarding your desire to travel, your desire for expansion. The 9th house is really so much about expansion. This can be expansion through travel, foreign travel, or expansion through encouraging ourselves to look at ideas and belief systems and philosophies and wisdom that is foreign to our own, and thereby having to push to expand our consciousness. So maybe around February, you are recognizing that there is something that you are wanting to expand in a new way. You are wanting to leave a certain philosophy or belief system or religion or way of spirituality and step into something new, and you planted that seed and it's coming to culmination. Now, the Sun and Mercury are in your 3rd house, and both those and the full moon are squaring Uranus in your 12th. Now, Uranus in your 12th, since 2018, has been trying to shake up something in your subconscious, in your place of rest. Uranus in the 12th can feel uncomfortable for people. Like, imagine this thing that's constantly shaking and trying to break through your subconscious. You know, where we go to rest for peace and healing and solitude, Uranus is in there, and it's saying, wake up from this programming that you've had. So the 9th and the 12th house can be very spiritual houses. And for you guys right now, you know, Saturn's in your 10th house, and it's really pushing you to find maturity and wisdom in your career, and also pushing you to become a person of authority. But oftentimes it happens through delays and disappointments. So it feels like a lot of the delays and disappointments are related to these subconscious programmings that you have, that Uranus in the 12th house is really pushing to break right now. So around this time, there may be disruption in sleep or really vivid dreams, because your subconscious is speaking to you loudly, right? Uranus is really trying to do something in there, and it's squaring Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is your ruler. So you're already kind of feeling a little off, but then now Mercury is squaring Uranus as well, and it's just trying to give you so much information through your subconscious. So you may have felt increased anxiety or more insomnia or things like that during this time because something is trying to come through to you. With the Sun and Mercury in your third house, maybe the way to this change is learning new skills. Maybe it's about thinking in a different way. Maybe it's about communicating in a different way. How are the things that you're learning and this environments that you're surrounding yourself with affecting your philosophies in life? Let's see if the tarot has anything else for you guys. Okay, I want to clarify this, please. For Gemini, Sun, and Rising. Okay, cool. So, Ace of Pentacles very much gives energy of a new opportunity, a new offer. So kind of like we were talking about in the beginning of the video, how, and at the, when I talked about the collective tarot reading, it feels like maybe we've had opportunities around us and we haven't had the space to see them. And I think what's happening here is maybe you're starting to see that there's a real opportunity here. Maybe you're having a business idea that just comes out of nowhere because of this Uranus shock factor. You're recognizing that you have this idea that just comes out of nowhere. Now, this is clarified by the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune to me is, once again, a major arcana. And it feels like what goes around comes around. This is a card of karma, and it's asking you, okay, number one, what I'm seeing, that if an opportunity comes to you or an idea comes to you during this time, it may be a karmic reward for you. If you feel like you've been acting with an integrity and you've been doing things the right way and you feel good about your alignment and all these things, you may be like, this may be a karmic opportunity for you. And this could lead to really amazing things. And at worst case scenario, it can lead in a situation in which you are meant to grow within, but it's karmic. What this card says to me is that there are factors outside of your control right now. So this is kind of an area in your life where you have to kind of surrender, be alert, but surrender and see what comes up and recognize that the Wheel of Fortune shows us that there are cycles in our lives. And we have to be willing to kind of allow those cycles to happen. We can't always control them. But yeah, let me know how this resonates for you guys, all right? And make sure to like and subscribe if you like content like this. I'll see you guys next time, Gemini. All right, so for Cancers, you are having a full moon in your 8th house. Make sure you listen to my Jupiter square Saturn video for additional information at this time, because it's happening on the same day, and that's a part of a bigger cycle, a 20-year cycle. So what seeds were planted around February of 2024? Because this is your 8th house, this is the house of secrets. This is the house of financial resources, shared financial resources, shared ventures, joint ventures. It's also the house of deep emotional intimacy, our psyche. This is a water house. So it really is emotional patterns that we have within relating to others on a very deep level, and also the joint ventures that we take on with people. So this could look like something that was started around February of this year coming to a peak. So whether that means that, you started a new course, or you had a desire to kind of dig up your psychology, your own psychology, because the 8th house is definitely ruling psychology and things that pertain to psychology. So astrology and tarot can very much be under this umbrella. This can also be kind of a occult house, so anything that has to do with occult things. Now, Uranus is in your 11th house, squaring this moon, and it's also squaring your sun and Mercury that are sitting in your second house right now. So what this tells me is that there is something definitely going on with finances right now. Your own income, your own job, and also shared ventures, joint ventures, shared finances. So any like loans that you're getting or any debt that you have, but also your own sense of financial income and your own job. Uranus is in your 11th house trying to shake things up. And it's been trying to shake this part of your chart up for like 6 years now. So it's kind of getting serious at this point, right? And what I think Uranus is trying to say is like, okay, your finances may not be where you want them to be because, and your intimacy, like your psyche, your emotions, they may not be where you want them to be because we are trying to change your hopes and dreams for the future. Big vision. What is your big vision in your life? Like maybe you're not looking big enough and Uranus is like trying to get you to be like, dude, like these are outdated. These visions that you're working towards are outdated. Where are we now? Where can we forge new freedom in our vision, our big vision in life? The 11th house is also organizations that we're a part of, and it's groups that we hang out in, people that we associate ourselves with, the internet, if you're into that. So if you have any like following on the internet, or if you have clubs that you're a part of on the internet. So Uranus is saying like, you know, we're trying to really shake up your associations, because are the people and the organizations that you're with, are they actually adding to your life? Are they supporting your visions as they stand now? Or are they working from an outdated model? And actually, this is bringing tension up in your second and eighth house of resources, values, shared resources, intimacy. It's this understanding that like your vision is outdated for your life. Okay, let's see if the tarot has anything else for you guys for my Cancer, Sun, and Rising. I feel bad because for Aries, I didn't get a clarifier. Oh well. Not oh well, but I will say that I always say that, you know, this is... things happen for a reason. You know, my clarifiers have all been major arcana so far. So I got the King of Swords, and the King of Swords tells me like there is a desire or a push for you to become wise in your communication and in your thoughts, but also not backing down. And then when I clarified it, I got the Sun and the Hierophant. So interesting. This has something to do with education or a system like higher education or religion. Something is feeling off about it. Something's feeling off about it. Are you feeling trapped by this, by some, you know, or is this the organization, the 11th house organization that you're feeling trapped by? The Hierophant is very much, this is a Taurus card, but it's about established order, things that are established with rules and disciplines and tradition. So anything like that in your life, maybe that is blocking you. Or, you know, maybe you're looking to this in order to find structure. I don't know. It could go either way. The Sun card is about radiance. It's about shining. Okay, here's what I'm hearing first for now. Uranus in your 11th house is like, where can you shine? You know, like the 11th house is the group consciousness house, but also it looks to the Leo house, right? So it's saying like, are you showing up in an authoritative manner in the way that you want to, showing up the way that you want to in your life? Because this is like a very moral person, a very intellectual person. Like I said, kind of like a position of authority. And the Hierophant's also like a position of authority. So it could be like clashing of the egos, or a recent, like some sort of established organization or established belief system is been harsh on you or something. And it's not letting you shine. It's not letting you radiate. It's not letting you feel the success of yourself. So that's what I think you guys are looking for right now and trying to emulate. And because these are major arcana cards, these are big themes in your life right now. You're working on themes that are of the bigger picture, and I feel like that's a Jupiter Saturn square that's really at play here, honestly. So make sure you guys check that out for more information, and also make sure to like and subscribe if you like content like this. And yeah, let me know how it resonates. I'll see you guys next time, Cancers. All right, so for my Leo sun and risings, this full moon's happening in your 7th house. Make sure you guys listen to Jupiter square Saturn, that video that I made, for additional information during this time, because it's happening on the same day and it's speaking to a 20-year cycle that started in 2020. So it's really speaking on a bigger theme that's happening in our lives. For you, that bigger theme is in your 7th house. So this is very interesting. Regarding your relationships, your partnerships, one-on-one partnerships, business partnerships, romantic relationships, best friend partnerships, what was going on around February 9th, 2024? What was happening then that may be connected to what's happening now? What plans were started then that may be culminating now? Also, something may be illuminated for you regarding your relationships and how you relate to other people or your business partnerships. Something may come up for you in that way. Uranus is squaring this from your 10th house, and the Sun and Mercury are in your 1st house. Yes, so there's a Cazimi in your 1st house, Mercury Cazimi in your 1st house, Uranus in your 10th. Leo risings, we tend to really like stability and structure in our career, right? Whatever we do, because to me, astrology doesn't tell you what to do for your job. And if someone tells you that, I feel like that's a little misguided in my opinion. Regardless, we tend to, whatever we choose to do, we tend to desire stability and security more than other people might in their career, in our career. So when Uranus moved in here in 2018, it's like, nope, we got to do things differently, like completely differently. We got to shake things up. We're like, nope. And maybe we've been taking baby steps towards that, but Uranus is getting like kind of sick of it. Uranus is like, listen, I'm about to leave this part of your chart. I'm about to leave and I'm about to go to your 11th house and start a new story. So what are we doing here? What have you learned these past 6 years, going on 7 years? What changes are you making? Are you in the same position you were? Like, really? Because this is the career house. This is public life, legacy, reputation. It's big stuff. It's not your job. It's your career. It's your legacy, what you're leaving behind. So Uranus, this is like kind of heavy duty things. And so maybe there is tension between where you want to go, your relationships, and who you feel like you have to be. Maybe there is tension around that and you're feeling it. Maybe also like this is all kind of pointing to like your home life being a little like subpar right now. Let's see what the tarot has to say about this, because there's a lot of places I could go with this. So let's see if I can break it down or narrow it down for you guys for my Leo risings. Interesting. What's this about? Guys, what's going on? Are you guys burnt out? 2 wand cards? There's a lot of fire. I mean, okay, Sun and Mercury retrograde in your 1st house. I could kind of see this, like lots of energy in your sign. So what this tells me is this is a time though where energy is available to you. Make use of it if you can. This kind of actually is making me feel like I shared in the very beginning of this video, I talked about, how my grandmother passed and I almost didn't make this video. Go listen to that part because I feel like you guys would resonate, because I was talking about how I felt like I shouldn't do this video and I should just be grieving, but I had this desire and I had the energy available even though in the middle of my grieving. Like I'm not just like, woo, like I've had breakouts of crying and I've cried a lot and I've been sad and I've just been reminiscing and all these things, but I still have the energy to get it done. And it's almost like if you have the energy to get whatever you need to get done, do it. Even if people around you are like, dude, you need to chill. If you feel in alignment, do it. If there's a project that you're wanting to complete, do it. This is telling me that there's rapid change that's wanting to happen in your world, and it's giving you, it's blessing you with the energy to get it done. But what I'm feeling is that maybe you're being burdened by this understanding that lately, hold on. Okay, the thing is, I know I've gotten this card for you guys recently, and I feel like it's the Leos, especially the Leo risings, have a tendency to take on the burdens of other people. We tend to take on the responsibility for everything because we're like, oh, but we're the sun, you know, we're ruled by the sun. We can do everything. And people look to us and they're like, Leos, you know, like their life, especially Leo risings, but also Leo suns to a lesser extent. People look to us and think like our lives are perfect because we have Taurus in the 10th house and Leo rising. So like the ways they see us, the 10th house and the first house, are like exuberant, steady, secure, stable. And a lot of times we're not that. We have Scorpio ruling the 4th house. And if you're a millennial, you have Pluto in the 4th house. So we are deeply feeling people. And there's a lot of chaos internally, but nobody sees that. We keep that very undercover. So what it feels like to me is like you're scared that you're burning yourself out right now. Okay, I want to tell you, I want to reassure you, you may have a history of burning yourself out and doing too much, okay? And maybe that's where you are now, okay? I'm gonna say for some people, yes, maybe you're burnt out right now. If that's you, know that this is the 10 of Wands, and that means that it's coming to a completion. You're almost at the end. But I think for most of you guys, what's actually happening is that you're scared that you're scared that you're redoing the same patterns of burning out. But if you feel like maybe that's not the case and you feel like, no, I have the energy to get stuff done, even though I'm tired, for some reason I have the energy, it's because the 8 of Wands is giving you that energy right now for a reason. Use it. Okay? All right, let me know how that resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. I'll see you guys next time. All right, so for my Virgo sun and rising, this full moon is happening in your 6th house. Make sure to listen to Jupiter square Saturn, the video that I just recently made. I'll link it down below because it's happening for you in angular houses. So this is also speaking on a story that started in 2020 in your Aquarius house, which this full moon is illuminating. So big themes being brought up right now. And the Jupiter square Saturn is happening on the same day. So to get a better picture of what's happening in the sky for you, definitely go ahead and listen to that video. So what seeds were planted in your 6th house around February 9th, 2024? So what is the 6th house theme? 6th house relates to service, hard work, health, illness, diet, pets, your work environment. It is a house of sacrifice. So really, it's a really important house actually. And Pluto is in that house for you guys right now, and it's going to be there until 2044. I just came out of a Pluto in the 6th house transit, which is finishing up in November forever, or for my entire life. And so I can tell that you guys that you're entering a time period in which there's going to be a lot of hard work involved. And a lot of attention to your health is necessary. And we can find a lot of meaning in the service that we give, in the hard work that we give. But, okay, so what seeds were planted around February regarding your 6th house things? Or something is being illuminated for you regarding your health, regarding the work and the way that you give service in this world. Something is being shown to you now that is going to help you see things in a new way. And what I think this is coming from is actually Uranus in your 9th house. So Uranus in your 9th house has been there since 2018, and it's finishing up in 2025. So it's really trying to push you to change something about your belief system. You're being not tested there. You're being tested in other places. Watch my Jupiter square Saturn video for that. But, well, yeah, for you guys, really, it doesn't feel like a test, but it feels like something about your belief system. Like maybe you've expanded, because the ninth house is higher education. It's your wisdom. It's your philosophy on life. It's your religion. It's law, the system of law, justice system. It's book publishings. It's mentors and father figures. So I feel like you're honest, but really the ninth house is a place of expansion and an expansion of your consciousness. So foreign travel as well too. So that could be, you know, a big theme as well as foreign travel. But the ninth house is foreign travel because when we travel to foreign lands, we have to expand our consciousness to invite in the new cultures, right? And the new environments that we're in. It's environments that we're not usually in. So when we do that, we expand our consciousness. And maybe this has been a big theme for you, is like having a revolution in your consciousness and seeing things and your belief systems radically changing. But there's something else for you to know. And it's going to be affecting not only your health, your sense of service to the world, your job environment, but also Sun and Mercury are in your 12th house of the subconscious, of grief, of healing, of closure, of endings. So your belief system is pressuring your subconscious beliefs, the programming that you've had, healing and closures that you are going through during this time, as well as your sense of service in the world. So there is a test. Why do I keep saying test for you guys? You guys are feeling very tested right now because I keep saying that word. I'm not saying that for anybody else. Let me get some information. What are Virgos being tested with right now? Ooh, something just flew out. It's mental. It's a thought. Some thought. I mean, Ace of Swords is generally a positive card. And it's like a new idea, a new way of thinking, a new plan that you wanna move towards. If you listen to the first part of my video, I talked about my grandmother passing. And I talked about how, to me, she very much gave me like strength card vibes. Okay. This is a Leo card. And it's about a sense of inner strength that comes about that is very much not about domination and control, not about outward strength, not about caring how we show other people how strong we are, but it's about taming our instincts. It's about taming our own desires. Maybe you learn something or some new idea comes about, or there's a communication to you of some sort that reveals to you that what is needed right now is inner strength. One of the things that I talked about with my grandmother was that, you know, she had this like quiet strength that was just always simmering under the surface. When she died, which was very recent, I felt her power in me. It was very strange. I would get really sad, and this is such a testament to her energy, but I would feel really sad, and then I would feel her energy come in, and it was like, it wasn't a shunning of the sadness, you know. And this is the strength card, is about compassion. Look at, you know, this person is not wrangling the lion into submission. it's showing it love and compassion. And that's where it finds its strength. And that's the feeling that I would get when I would get sad, and then I would cry, and then all of a sudden this energy would come into me. It was very, very strange. I've never felt that before with anybody's death. It was very, very strange. But like, this sort of inner strength can truly give you the power to overcome any fears and obstacles that you have, because you know that you can handle it, and you allow yourself to also feel compassion for yourself. I don't know. I'm feeling very interesting. Virgos, what's going on? Virgos, what's going on? Let me know. But it's not bad. And this is a major arcana card. So it's telling me like this whole thing, whatever's happening, is working on a bigger theme in your life, right? Like this is a big deal for you to be able to have this sense of compassion for yourself while cultivating a sense of strength and determination and will, but internally, and standing in that, right? That's beautiful, you guys. All right, let me know how that resonates for you. And make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. All right, guys? I'll see you next time. All right, so for my Libra, Sun, and Rising, this full moon is happening in your 5th house. Make sure you listen to my Jupiter square Saturn video for additional information during this time. Because it's happening on the same day, but it's also speaking to a larger theme that's happening in your 5th house for the next 20 years. So it's very interesting how these transits are separate, but they're working together in very interesting ways when we look at them deeply. So make sure you see that to get a more holistic understanding of all of the transits that are happening during this time, because there's a lot. There is a lot. So regarding your 5th house matters, what seeds were planted or what was happening around February 9th, 2024? What are 5th house matters, you ask? I'll let you know. Creativity, hobbies, love, self-expression, joy, children, entertainment, pleasure. What was happening around that time that was changing your view on this? This is also a house of romance and dating. Were you starting to date? Were you starting to date your partner again? Were you starting to recognize that there needs to be a way that you need to change the way that you approach romance or dating or creativity or your hobbies, or simply how you enjoy life, how you express yourself? You guys are learning something really big about this over the next 20 years. And this may be illuminating a piece of that puzzle for you, because Uranus has been in your 8th house since 2018. And now Uranus is really pushing for some change. And for you guys, this is coming from a deep, deep place. The 8th house is your psyche. It's your place of shared resources, shared finances with another being. But on a deeper level, it's a water house. So it's about sharing intimacy with another. It's where the emotional foundations from the 4th house come into the 8th house to be shared with another. So it's just like raw intimacy. So there is changes that are stirring in your psyche. They are changing in your, this is a house of secrets. So like maybe secrets have been exposed to yourself, like literally you're exposing your own secrets to yourself, and you're seeing these things. Uranus is working in this part of your chart to be like, no, we need to stir things up. They've been too stagnant. You've been relating in the same ways. Maybe you've been, when it comes to like joint ventures and joint finances, maybe you've been doing that in the same old outdated ways. And this is putting pressure on your 5th house, but also what's going on in your 11th house with the Mercury Cazimi, the Sun and Mercury in your 11th house in Leo, which is about organizations you belong to, any humanitarian activities that you're a part of, any groups that you're a part of, your friends groups, your, I think I said organizations that you belong to, any online groups that you're working with right now. So this deep change is happening with Uranus in the 8th in a place where you generally like stability, is causing you to have to look at and possibly change the way you deal with romance, love, creativity, hobbies, pleasure, enjoyment, entertainment, your children, as well as how you relate to the world at large, where you find your self-expression and how you can still find a sense of belonging in that world. So it's almost like you're feeling things are coming up within you, deep within you, that are making you recognize that maybe like this is similar to, I said this for somebody else too. Anyway, it's making you recognize that, yeah, Aries, of course, your sister sign. It's making you recognize that like, oh, there's a big change happening in the way that I express myself, in the sense of individuality that I have in the world. And yet, you know, the 11th house is the organizations you belong to. So it feels like you're trying to find where your unique self fits into an organization or group or some sort of humanitarian cause that actually feels good to you. And you're doing this by digging up some deep stuff that's been in there for a long time. Psychotherapy would be great for you. Occult practices would be great for you. Meditation, things like that. Things that allow stillness so that you can get really, really deep within yourself. All right, let me see if the tarot has anything additional for you guys. Let's see. Beautiful. Oh my goodness, you guys. 2 major arcanas? This is big. This is big stuff. Okay, so the Sun card is the first card I got, which this is the card that is so, this is what I'm saying. I feel like this is very much speaking on your 5th house because this is a Leo card, and it feels like this is about warmth, success, vitality, letting yourself shine in the world, which is very much related to, not completely, but very much related to your 5th house, which is about self-expression. It's like you're trying to find in what way you want to make a unique contribution to the world, in what way you want to shine, and in what organizations or circles can you do that in. Your card is the Justice card. So what that card is very much like a very logical card, right? And you guys are an air sign, so there is some logic that you guys like to, okay, well, what would be the pros of this? What would be the cons of this? You know, it's very much about balance and fairness and justifications and things like that. The Judgment card tells me that you guys have this feeling that you have a higher calling, and you're feeling like you don't know if you want to go with it, because the Judgment card is not just logical. There is a blend of intellect and intuition that needs to happen here. It's this feeling that you have a higher calling, but you're not quite sure if you can fulfill that. But you almost kind of, this is telling me that it's pushing you towards that. And so this may feel uncomfortable for you. And I want to ask you if you can, listen to the first part of my video and what I talked about being, when I talked about being uncomfortable, and even my Jupiter square Saturn video where I talked about like these painful truths that we may have to face that kind of push us into this place where we're uncomfortable, but it's like necessary for us to grow. That's what squares do, right? So it feels like you're coming up to a significant time to make a change in your life, or maybe there's a decision that you feel like you have to make, and that's usually when I see this card, especially because they're both major arcanas. It feels like there is a certain calling of exuberance, of warmth, of you wanting to kind of step into success in your own unique way, and it's coming to that time for you to make a decision. And I would ask you is like, can we get comfortable? Can we get comfortable being uncomfortable for the sake of growth in our lives? Because I think that you want it. I think that you do want it. All right, guys, let me know how that resonates for you. Like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Right, so for my Scorpio sun and rising, this full moon is happening in your 4th house. So make sure to listen to my Jupiter square Saturn video for additional information during this time, because it's happening on the same day. And it's actually speaking to a 20-year cycle that started in your 4th house where this full moon's happening. So they're kind of related, and that one's very important. So make sure you listen to that. Now, regarding your 4th house stuff, what seeds were planted around February 9th, 2024? February 9th, 2024. Now, what are the fourth house themes? Well, it's your home. It's your inner life. It's your private life. And it's about your emotional foundations and also, you know, the people who are in that home with you. In general, just your home life. And what was going on around February that is now coming to a conclusion, or not a conclusion, but a culmination. It's coming to its peak point. Maybe around this time, something will be illuminated. And I think for you guys, if you live with a partner, I think it has to do with your partner, because Uranus has been shaking things up in your 7th house of relationships since 2018, okay? It's trying to bring more freedom and authenticity in that part of your chart and how you relate with other people. And it's doing it kind of hardcore now because it's like really wanting you to start making these changes. And maybe that your partner, your business partner, your best friend, they are maybe causing some sort of tension in your private life, in your emotional life, in your relationship with your mother, maybe you're exploring those sort of things. And also, your partner is not only shaking up your 4th house, but they are also shaking up your 10th house. So it seems like your partner has some sort of Uranian shakeup for your private life and your public life, your legacy, the career you want to have, the imprint you want to have in the world, the reputation. There's pressure being put in those areas, and the goal of that pressure is to help you grow in those areas, right? And so because that's forming a T-square in your angular houses, you're probably feeling this quite intensely, this full moon. And you are the empty space, right? So that means that like your own sense of self has kind of been muddled up in all of this, what's going on with the partner, the home life, and the public life. Your own sense of self has been neglected. And maybe that's the answer. Is that like maybe we need to spend some time during this full moon. Maybe that's something that'll come up for you when you have this full moon in your 4th house. Maybe this is a childhood pattern. Maybe you have a childhood pattern of like putting yourself last or not caring about your sense of self. And in that way, you've lost. It makes, because see, the 1st house sets up the whole chart. So when you have lost your sense of 1st house, your sense of self, your home life, your relationship, and your career suffer. So that's why, like, it reminds me of like putting the oxygen mask on first. It's like you can't have a happy home life, you can't have a happy relationship or business partnership, you can't have a happy career if you have no sense of self. Or you know, and the thing is like that sense of self can be fluid, but it needs to still have some sort of definition. You know, like it needs to be created to some level. You don't have to be attached to it, but it needs to be created. Anyway, so that's just what I am feeling. Let me see what this tarot card or cards have to say. Maybe there's something else that I'm not picking up on. Let's see. Because Uranus is like kind of getting to the point of its like end in your 7th house. So it's really wanting to like be like, hello, are you getting it? Like I'm trying to change your relationships. Excuse me. I'm trying to change your way of relating to other people. And for you, this is an important, it's affecting a lot of stuff in your life. So, let's see, for Scorpio, Sun, and Rising. Okay. I'm not even getting another card. Okay. The Chariot. All right. So what does the Chariot represent? If we actually think of a chariot, you are directing your life. This is a card of will and determination. It feels like exactly what I was just saying. And this is a major arcana. So this is, once again, kind of reiterating what I feel like this is a theme that you've had in your emotional foundations, in your 4th house. And maybe this will be revealed to you during this full moon. That, like, you don't take the wheel. You just sit back and enjoy the ride. But the Chariot is like, no. We are willful in our actions, we are determined in our actions, and we move towards what we want. This feels to me like a time for you to be courageous. It's really interesting because I got a similar card for Aries, and now that I think about it, your co-ruler and Aries ruler, Mars, is together with Jupiter during this time. So Mars, the planet of action, is sitting next to the planet of expansion. So this is really like telling me that it's time to assert yourself. It's time to be bold. It's time to be courageous. It's time to take the reins. This is not a time for you to act passively. Very much on point with what I was saying about the first house. It's time for you to take control of the direction that you want your life to go in, and it begins with you. It begins with what you want and how you want to see the world, your attitude, and you know, yeah, it's a commitment that you're willing to make right now, and a determination that this card is asking you to have. If you're feeling like, oh, well, should I do this? Yes. Okay? All right, let me know how that resonates for you guys. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, so for my Sagittarius sun and rising, this full moon is happening in your 3rd house. Now, make sure you guys listen to my Jupiter square Saturn video for additional information during this time, because it's happening on the same day. And it's talking about, or it's speaking to like this 20-year cycle that's starting in your guys' in your 3rd house in 2020. So even though Jupiter square Saturn is a completely different, like, you know, configuration, it is still related to what's happening during this full moon. So listen to that to get a better holistic idea of what's happening around this time. I'll link that video down below. So regarding your 3rd house stuff, what seeds were planted around February 9th, 2024 that are now coming to culmination? So what are 3rd house things? 3rd house things it's your immediate environment. So it can be your neighbors, your cousins, your siblings, people that you interact with on a daily it can be your vehicle on a mundane level. It's also the house of communication and learning, specifically learning skills. So what skills are you know, did you start a process of learning skills? Did you start the process of communicating in a new way, whether that's written or verbal? What about your thoughts? Maybe you were examining your thoughts around February and saying, hey, I want to start thinking more positively. And maybe now you're getting some sort of culmination in that. Conversely, what could be happening is there could be some sort of illumination for you in this part of your life. So maybe, especially because we've got Mercury squaring Uranus, some sort of thought is revealed to you, some sort of emotion is seen within you, a part of your consciousness that you have not allowed to be seen regarding your 3rd house, okay? Maybe you want to be more involved in your immediate environment. Maybe you want to be working around you, so you're driving around more. Maybe you're wanting to just be more involved in your community. Maybe that's something that's been called to you. The Jupiter square Saturn video I did mention for you guys specifically is happening in your angular houses. Okay, hold on. Out of all 12 signs, I need you to listen to that Jupiter square Saturn video, because I talk about the Sagittarius part of our charts being important during this time. So what I'm seeing for you guys is, you know, it's kind of similar to Scorpios right now, but for you guys, I feel like it's deeper, that there is a sense of pressure from like every part of your chart, and it's causing your light to be dimmed, which for Sagittarius rising is like, that's a lot of energy to have in your rising sign. And you guys are feeling like it's not quite, it's feeling like it's dimmed, or there's like extra pressure on you guys from everything right now. Okay, back to this full moon though, specifically. Uranus has been in your 6th house since 2018, wanting to change up your daily routines, your sense of service, your health, your relationship with pets, your work environment. Uranus has been, dude, like saying for years, like, dude, we need to change this up. This isn't working for us anymore. This is an outdated model, and yet we are continuing to do it or making very small changes. Maybe that's not true. Maybe you have made a lot of changes, but generally where we have Taurus, we tend to kind of get rigid and stubborn there. So for you, it's literally how you know, what kind of work environments you have, but also your health, your daily routines, how you give service to the world. These places are asking to be changed, and it's putting pressure on a couple of things. It's putting pressure on your 3rd house, and it's putting pressure in your 9th house. Right now, you guys have Sun and Mercury retrograde in your 9th house. You may be getting some sort of revealing information regarding your higher education, your foreign travels, any book publishings that you're doing right now, anything that's going on. If you have like a legal case going on, something like that, you may be getting some clarification, a really clear message about something. But what's happening is that Uranus in your 6th house is putting pressure on your 9th house, your belief system, your desire to expand, and your 3rd house of skills and your immediate environment. So it feels like your routines, your health, or your work are adversely affecting how you are living your life and the belief systems that you have and the higher education that you're a part of and the skills that you're learning and the things that you're doing day to day. They're not changing in a meaningful way. Like, this can often look like you are making decisions, but they are coming from a place of sameness. And so even though it looks like on the outside things are changing, maybe they're not. Maybe they are. I'm not doubting you guys, because Sagittarius, you guys love to learn, you guys love to expand yourselves. But maybe for some of you guys, this is true, that it's like you're making changes, but your daily life still looks like a mess. You know, you're like, okay, I'm going to travel more, I'm going to expand myself, but like my health is still a mess. My work environment's still a mess. Like, it's not meaningful. Like, the 6th house is it's the last house before the 7th house. Okay, so once Uranus moves into your 7th house, all this energy of shaking it up is going into your relationships. Right now, you're in the 6th house of individuation. It's the last house before you move into the 7th house, and it becomes about the other. So this is really about you, and it's wanting to shake things up so that you get a holistic understanding of who you are, like I talked about in the beginning of this video about individuation, before you move forward. Okay, so let me see if the tarot has anything else for you guys, for my Sagittarius. I feel like I got that card for you guys next time. What is this regarding? I mean, I kind of get it, but Jesus Christ, you guys. In my last video, I think I said, oh, maybe I didn't. Did I? I feel like I did. I feel like Sagittarius some of you guys are going through a tough time right now. A lot of you guys, honestly. So what I got for you guys was the 7 of Pentacles clarified by the 8 of Cups. So, okay, you're having to walk away from something. You're having to walk away from an emotionally unsatisfactory situation. And in that, you're feeling a sense of disappointment. You're feeling a sense of disappointment because you worked really hard to get this. You worked really hard to get this thing that you're walking away from. I want to get one more card for you guys. Please give me some advice for my Sagittarius. Please give me some advice. The Page of Wands. This card makes me feel like I need you guys to tap into your creativity. I need you guys to tap into your Jupiterian inspiration. You guys are ruled by the greatest benefic planet of all time, okay? That we know of. So I need you guys to tap into this goodwill, this generosity, this hope, this joy, this understanding that there is a limitless potential to your being. There are so many opportunities out there, and I want you guys, like, you may be leaving an emotionally unfulfilling situation, and you may be feeling disappointed because you worked hard to get there and it's not working out anymore. But where can you find inspiration? How can you dream up of new ideas that can kind of get you out of this and remind you of that there is a limitless possibility for you guys, okay? I know you guys can do it. I know you guys got this, okay? Let me know how you guys resonate with this. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, so for my Capricorn sun and rising, this full moon is happening in your second house. Make sure you listen to Jupiter square Saturn, the video that I just did, for additional information during this time, because it's happening at the same day as on the same day as the full moon. And that transit is touching upon a 20-year cycle that started in December 2020. So, which is also in your second house. So kind of are tying in together, but in different ways. It's just a lot happening on and around the 19th. So yeah, make sure you listen to that video to get a more holistic understanding of things that could be coming up for you. For you guys specifically, because you're ruled by Saturn, it is very important for you guys to listen to that, if I do say so myself. Now, regarding this full moon in your second house of Aquarius, what seeds were planted around February 9th, 2024? The second house is a house of finance. It's a house of values. It's a house of your job. So maybe you started a new job. Maybe you started a new position. Maybe you were asking for a new position. Could be coming to a culmination during this time. Maybe you wanted a raise and now you're getting it. Maybe your values, what you value in life, the resources that you want to have in your life, there's something that's changing about them and something is coming to a culmination, or something is going to be revealed to you about your values, your resources, your money, your finances, your income, your self-esteem, your job, your self-worth. Something around here, something could be illuminated in your second house that around this time. Now, this could come from Uranus being in your fifth house. Capricorns, Uranus has been in your fifth house since 2018, trying to shake up the way you have fun, the way you relate to your children, the way you relate to your creativity, your hobbies. It's been trying to change this part of your chart up. So like if you wanted kids, maybe you don't want to have kids now. Or maybe you wanted to have kids, now you don't want to have kids. Or maybe your creativity is completely different than what it was in 2018. The things that you found as a part of your hobbies are completely changed. The way that you find pleasure and joy and entertainment in life maybe has changed. And if it hasn't, because Capricorns, you guys love to initiate change and to move forward with something. But sometimes we lose our ways, you guys are a cardinal sign. So it's like you start something and then you just kind of back off. And then you start something and then back off. But you guys are an earth sign. So there is some stability there. And this part of your chart, how you have fun, how you enjoy life, how you express yourself can sometimes get a little rigid. And so Uranus has been trying to change that up. And now as Uranus is getting into the last several degrees of Taurus, which it will enter Gemini, so your sixth house, next year in June, it's really trying to bring something up, right? So Mercury is in your eighth house along with the sun in Leo. And Uranus is in the fifth, wanting to change the way that you enjoy your life, but it's affecting your income. It's affecting your money, shared resources, as well as your own income, your own self-esteem, and the intimacy you share with another partner. Something is being asked to change in these parts of your chart because of Uranus's pressure on them. So maybe you're feeling like your creativity and your hobbies and your sense of expression is asking you to change something in your finances. It's saying that like this is no longer how we want to express ourselves. This is no longer how we want to have fun. This is no longer in alignment with, like, I could see this as being like you are somebody who is very pleasure seeking, or not even very pleasure seeking, but you like to, you know, have entertainment in your life and joy and fun, which is all good and it's amazing, but it's affecting your finances, or it's affecting your joint finances. So you and your partner's finances are struggling because of this desire. And so Uranus is saying, okay, like let's change something up here. Now, like I said, for you guys, I mean, I feel like the Jupiter square Saturn situation is really asking some big things of you. Let me see something. Let me get some tarot for you guys. Some tarot for my Capricorn sun and rising. What's going on in this full moon? Ah, yes, yes. See, I knew, even though the 8th house is very much about emotional intimacy, you know, a lot of people talk about shared resources there as well. I feel like this is about money for you. Can I get a clarifier, please? Yeah, see, wow, amazing. Good for you. 10 of Cups. This is like ultimate fulfillment, especially in relationships. Completion, accomplishment. This is a beautiful card. 10 of Cups. Emotional fulfillment, okay? What I am seeing is there is a desire to get more practical and more responsible about your earthly desires and how you enjoy your life and how that relates to your finances. And what you get on the other side of that, interestingly enough, is a sense of emotional fulfillment. I wonder if there is some sort of business or creative venture or vision that, or investment that you are wanting to make. Because the 5th house is a house of speculation. So gambling, investment, things like that. During Mercury retrograde, I'm always like, let's not get super involved. But maybe there is some sort of venture that you are wanting to embark upon that is could be very fruitful for you during this time. And maybe it is a different job, right? Like maybe it's something that you haven't been doing, and maybe the 5th house stuff that I've been talking about, the creativity and like the entrepreneurship, because it's ruled by Leo, which is a leadership sign. And this is definitely a sign of like you are ready to be in a position of leadership and authority. I just feel like, yeah, there is a link between you and this venture, or you and responsibly managing your money while still being able to have fun, and that leading to a sense of like emotional, like alignment in your life. Yeah, I don't know. You guys, Capricorns, let me know how that resonates, and let me know any of your stories that you want to share, because that would be very interesting. Sometimes things don't make logical sense to me, but they're coming to me, and then I hear people's stories, and they're like, yes, this totally resonates. So I'd love to hear that if it doesn't, or if it does. And make sure to like and subscribe to this video if you guys like my content, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, so for my Aquarius sun and rising, this full moon is happening in your 1st house. Make sure you guys listen to the Jupiter square Saturn video that I did for additional information during this time, because that Jupiter Saturn square is touching upon a story that started in 2020 at 0 degrees Aquarius, and it's a 20-year cycle. So this is like the first check-in point of that. So you guys specifically, alongside some other signs, would do very well to listen to that video, because that's happening on the same day as this full moon. So lots of energy around this time. Also, Saturn is one of your co-rulers, so its movements are important, okay? So Aquarius, what seeds were you planting around February 9th, 2024, around your personality, around your selfhood, around your attitude, the mask in which you want to view the world in, any new beginnings in your life, new chapters of your life that you began, that may be coming to a culmination during this time. Maybe you wanted to change something about your looks or your personality or your attitude, and now you're seeing that change has been made. Maybe during this time, you will get some sort of understanding or a breakthrough or a new idea regarding your selfhood and how you put yourself out there and how that's been affecting your entire life. The attitude that you move through the world with, the personality, the mask that, I don't even want to say mask, I like saying like the glasses in which you view the world. How has that filter been affecting you? Maybe something will come up that shows you that something may need to change. There needs to be a new path of more authenticity in your being. You guys are by nature radical beings. So have we lost that? Have we lost touch with that? I don't know. Now Uranus is in your 4th house and it's been there since 2018, wanting to shake up your home life, your private life, your emotional foundations, your relationship with your mother, your like where you live, your actual physical home. This part of your chart, you guys like stability in. You know, even though Aquarius is zany and quirky and all these things, you guys are still a fixed sign. You guys still like consistency and stability. And when it comes to your home life specifically and your emotions, you like to keep that under control. Uranus has been trying to shake this up because it wants more authenticity here. It wants you to do things in a new way, okay? And yet, in this part of our chart, we tend to kind of slow down. We kind of resist change. And at this time, I think Uranus is really trying to shake something up. Now, this Uranus is squaring your 1st house that we talked about. It's also squaring Sun and Mercury in your 7th house. So with Sun and Mercury in the 7th house, this means that something regarding your emotional foundation, your private life, your home life, is directly affecting how you move in the world, as well as your relationships and the people in your life. Something is trying to shake things up and put pressure on you and your relationships to see how can all of this be brought into better alignment. And like I said, a new journey started in 2020, December of 2020, in your 1st house. And now we've got Pluto going through your 1st house for the next 20 years. Wow, Aquarius, you guys, on a collective level, Aquarius is here. Aquarian themes are going to be where we find power. And so you guys naturally being Aquarius rising, that means that we need more of your authenticity in the world during this time, okay? So you guys are being pressured right now, but for good reason. There's a lot of responsibility here. Let's see what the tarot has to say for you guys. Can we get a clarification, please? Aquarius. Interesting. Okay, so what I got for you guys was the Strength card, and that was clarified by the 8 of Swords. So what I initially, number one, this is a major arcana, so I'm not surprised because like I said, there's a lot of transits happening around this time, and a lot of the key players have to do with you. So I'm not surprised. This is asking you guys for compassionate inner strength to be cultivated. A taming of the desires, but not with harsh brute force. Through compassion and love. Look at the way that she handles the lion and tames him. It's through compassion and love and through patience. Yet she is strong in those things. And for you guys, I feel like there's been, the 8 of Swords is very much a self-made prison. Like, your thoughts are keeping you chained in some way. You feel like you're in a situation that you can't get out of. Where is this happening for you guys? You're feeling blocked, stuck. You're feeling like you can't move forward in a place in your life. Where is this happening for you guys? Aquarius, let me know. It's like a self-made prison and you're like, I can't move. I'm stuck here. But the thing is that when I see the 8 of Swords, it's very clear to me that you're not actually stuck. It's your mindset that's keeping you stuck. It's a belief that you are stuck that's keeping you stuck. And actually, what this is asking for is patience, compassion, and courage to have the inner strength to make the changes that need to be made, to break yourself, to take off this blindfold and see reality for what it is. This to me feels like something being opened, your eyes being open to something, and Jupiter square Saturn making you see that there has been there are limitations in your life, but you have ways of being able to overcome these limitations. You just have to think in a new way. You have to be courageous enough to go down a new path of radical authenticity for you guys. Yeah. So Aquarius, let me know how that resonates, and make sure to like and subscribe if you like my content, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, so for my Pisces sun and rising, this full moon is happening in your 12th house, the house of Pisces. And make sure you guys listen to the Jupiter square Saturn video for additional information about the transits that are going on during this time. You're one of the signs that it's specifically important for, because those planets are in your angular houses forming a T-square, and also Jupiter is one of your co-rulers. So its movements are very prominent for you. And for this Jupiter square Saturn specifically, because we're going to have 2 more, so 3 in total, I feel like you and Sagittarius are feeling pretty burdened with it. I feel like Saturn's doing a lot for you guys. Saturn's in your first house as well. So like I said, listen to that video. That energy is very prominent during the same day as this, and as well as, Jupiter square Saturn, we've been feeling that for at least a week before and at least a week after, but it's playing upon a new 20-year story that started in your 12th house in 2020, December of 2020. So it's all interrelated here, okay? Now, this full moon is in your 12th house, your house of closure, healing, your house of isolation, spirituality, long distance travel, your house of self-limiting beliefs, your subconscious thoughts. Something is being illuminated for you here. This part of your chart is, you guys are going to undergo a massive spiritual transformation here. Massive transformation over the next 20 years because of the energies, the cycles that are started in your chart, as well as the transits that are going to be happening for the next 20 years. So you might get some sort of subconscious message. Uranus is in your 3rd house. So this has something to do with communication, with your siblings, neighbors, people in your immediate environment. Your immediate environment is actually what is giving pressure to bring something out of you, break something in your subconscious, because you have Uranus in your 3rd. So Uranus in your 3rd is trying to break up your day-to-day. It's trying to break up your environments, your relationship with your immediate surroundings. So that includes neighbors, siblings, cousins. Anything that you would say is a part of your daily routine is happening here. And Uranus has been trying to break it up. It's also been trying to break up the way that you communicate and your mental patterns, which are very closely associated to the 12th house of your subconscious patterns. Now, Sun and Mercury are joined in the house of Leo, which is your 6th house. So this is also being pressured by Uranus in your 3rd. Yeah, it seems like your day-to-day life has taken some sort of a beating lately. It feels like your sense of optimism and joy has been squandered lately. And this full moon is an opportunity for you to regain that. It's very similar to how I feel about Sagittarius. That's very interesting. Let me see what the tarot has to say for you guys to see if we have any additional information for my Pisces sun and rising. Yeah, see, like, the Page of Swords comes up. So it's making me feel like something is going on with your thoughts. Maybe there's anxiety, or maybe there's a breakthrough that comes through that is within your communication. So something written, something spoken, or read that kind of sparks something in you. Or this is something that's saying that communication is at the forefront right now. Something wants to be changed here. I got this clarified by the Two of Wands, which tells me that you guys would do well right now to do your best to have a broader vision for yourself. It seems like there's a lot of energy in the minutia right now, like a lot of things happening in your 3rd house of communications, your 12th house of spirituality and isolation, and then your 6th house of your work environment. Maybe there's issues in your work environment, communication issues there. Maybe there's issues in your health. Maybe there's some sort of sacrifice you feel like that you're making, and something is in. There's a lot of pressure in these areas, and this can kind of overtake our brains, and we can forget to look up and see the bigger picture. So I think that's what you guys need to do right now. Also, this tells me that maybe you guys need to travel. Maybe there's some need to expand your mind in some way, whether that's through travel or through reading works that are going to expand your mind and your consciousness in some way. Exploring different belief systems, or if you have an idea, starting to plan that, like have a vision and start the planning process. I think that's what you guys need to start. You guys need to look big and start small. Start the planning. I feel like the energy, the vision I get around you guys is you guys are like zeroed in, because it feels like maybe your immediate life is taking up a lot of your energy, and it's kind of messing with your psyche a little bit because of the 12th house involvement. And I just need you guys to like look up right now, okay? I feel like I've gotten this message for Pisces actually quite often lately because of Saturn in your 1st. I feel like that is really just intensifying everything else, is that like your view of the world can very easily become pessimistic. And so you constantly need to be like looking up and out, okay? Let me know how that resonates for you guys. Like and subscribe if you like this video, and I will see you guys next time.